All right, welcome everybody. I had emailed Ashley and Laura this morning because this is the call that I've been very excited for. Looking forward to speaking with both Paige and Megan here with Kwik Trip. And as people are jumping on, you guys, this call is for you guys. We have a whole list of questions that we want to ask and pick Paige and Megan's brain on. But those of you guys who know Kwik Trip, we were kind of talking before the call. We all love Kwik Trip for different reasons. It's always interesting to ask people why they love Kwik Trip. And now we get to find out kind of some of their secret sauce and what they do to really impact people on social media. They have 600,000 followers on Facebook, you guys, 73,000 followers on Instagram, 52,000 on TikTok, and 62,000 on Twitter. So they, social media wise, know what they're talking about. And we're here to make a correlation between how you guys can use it in your real estate businesses. So welcome Paige and welcome Megan.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you both for taking the time. For those of you who are joining us on the live stream, please put your questions in the chat that you guys have for these two. We're going to monitor it and submit them through. I have a whole bunch of myself just to kind of get things started. And we'll just answer the questions as they come in. But first off, like Paige, why don't you talk a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do for Kwik Trip?
Sure. So I am the social media specialist at Kwik Trip. I've been here for going on 2 years. I started as an intern in 2019, but now I've kind of taken over the organic side of things. So on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, all that fun stuff. I deal with a lot of the concepts, the photos, copy, kind of everything that goes into the content creation process. Another part of my job is customer engagement. So we have a third-party platform where all of the messages come through from all of our followers. So kind of making sure they're followed up with, all that. You get a lot of good social listening aspects from that. So I kind of gather, what people are saying about our products, about certain stores, and kind of push those to the right departments. And then the other part of my job is our influencer program. So this year we've kind of had almost 40 influencers. So kind of just keeping in contact with them while they promote us on social media. So that's a little bit of an overview on my part.
Awesome. Thank you, Paige. Megan, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so my title is Paid Media Specialist. I have been with Kwik Trip a little over a year. I started in October of last year, so not too long, but I handle all of our advertising across our social platforms. So our main ones are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and a little bit on LinkedIn. Looking at starting some on Pinterest soon, so we'll see how that goes. But basically setting up campaigns, managing them, watching ad performance, and adjusting, optimizing any ads that we need to justify spend and make sure everything's running efficiently. So
Megan, like when you guys go to create content that you're going to spend money behind and promote, tell me what like that process, how do you guys come up with that from more of like a paid side?
Sure. So basically throughout the year, we have set campaigns or promotions that we need to run just based off of upper management, sending that down to us. And it pretty much stays the same year to year. But basically once we have those promotions set, we work with our graphic design team to request any artwork that we need. We kind of look at what's done well in the past in terms of different content. So is it a video? Is it a single image? What's the characteristics of that image? Is it look more like a promotion, or does it look more organic, or we call those like lifestyle ads? And then we just kind of see what we need from there based off of what's worked in the past. And once I have that creative, I'm able to go into the platform itself and set up the campaign. So that's kind of an overview.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Megan. So what for Kwik Trip, what is like the best type? One of the questions that one of our viewers had was, what's the best type of paid ad that you guys see? Like you guys feels like one of the best from you guys' research.
So recently, we've actually been playing a lot more with making our ads look more like our organic posts. So we don't want it to look like an ad, basically. So we've been using memes when we're able to. Sometimes you can't, but when we're able to, we've been using memes and just using more of that brand voice, that humor that Paige uses all the time with organic. And those have done extremely well for us. So that's something we're going to continue into 2021 for sure.
Yeah, Paige is very funny. I follow her on TikTok, and I love how she does it. So, Paige, let's go to you. How do you create content? And Kwik Trip definitely has a sense of humor. Like just watching Kwik Trip on social media, I would say Kwik Trip has a sense of humor, and I love it. How do you come up with more organic content?
Yeah, I guess tons of inspiration is pulled from everywhere. A few members like in our marketing department, like they send me ideas a lot, which is amazing because they know like, oh, this could be a TikTok, stuff like that. I would say the majority of my inspiration comes from going through comments and just seeing what people are saying, seeing like what the current trends are in terms of memes and text formats for tweets, stuff like that. I get a lot of that inspiration from our third-party platform. So just seeing all those comments come through, seeing what people are talking about in terms of products, certain campaigns, just seeing all that coming through to us, what people love about Kwik Trip, what people don't like about Kwik Trip. Sometimes we can poke fun at ourselves. Just seeing all of that is really inspirational, and that's kind of where I get a lot of those ideas. And then I just try to make it funny, so.
Yes, no, absolutely. I think I saw one of it might have been on Facebook, but I saw one of you guys' posts where some husband was like, help, my wife keeps buying bananas at Walmart, Kwik Trip, what do I do? And I just loved how you guys intertwine that into kind of some content creation with it. So awesome. So you look for comments, you look for other things that are going on. You actually you wait for your customers. I think you lead with a great sense of humor, and then you base it on like what they kind of throw a sense of humor back at you, and then you incorporate them into your strategy. Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So just like taking tweets like that, and we just kind of push our voice on it and kind of showing that like there's someone behind the computer writing all this, and like they know kind of our brand voice and how we react to things. So like with the bananas thing, I think I said call a lawyer. So just like fun stuff like that. It just adds so much more than just like putting out the tweet, because I mean it's been tweeted. Like we have to add something else to it to make it impactful and more coming from us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Megan, let me ask you this: what do you think is the platform of the future for in terms of like building your brand and building what you're getting business from?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't have like an awesome answer. I think it's going to be what everyone expects, and that's Facebook. Facebook has been kind of the like tried and true so far, but I think that it will continue to be there. I know it's our best platform in terms of overall ad performance. I think Paige can chime in too that it's one of the best for organic as well. There's so many people on Facebook. I don't know what the exact data is behind the percentage of social media users, but we definitely see the most impressions on our ads, and I think for our organic posts as well through Facebook.
Yeah, I'd say most of our real estate community it's Facebook. It would be my guess in terms of where they go to build their brand the best. So let's ride down Facebook here for a second. What do you think are the best organic post page for Facebook to just helping people build maybe a real estate brand inside of Facebook? Is it leading with a sense of humor? Is it what do you think?
I guess speaking from a Kwik Trip side of things, what we found is definitely humor. But I think across the board, just trial and error, like seeing what people want. Like I mentioned, going through comments, seeing what people, like what appeals to them, what they want to see, just kind of picking out those certain trends and just trying out a certain kind of post, like something funny, maybe something related to pop culture, maybe some curated content, like an article or something. Anything that's educational might work better for some brands. Obviously, it's different for what we do. Like we go with the Midwest humor, I feel like never lets us down. That's just kind of our own voice. But I think establishing your own presence and just kind of trial and error and seeing what works for you is the best way to go.
How would somebody go? That was one of the questions we had in the chat from Julie. She asked, how would you go about finding your voice? Like Kwik Trip's voice is, sense of humor and things like that. But how would you go about finding your own voice?
Yeah, I guess when I came on the team, we really only had the humorous voice on Twitter. So that was just something that we saw with a lot of other brands like Wendy's, especially kind of having this savage voice on Twitter. So we decided to go for it. If you look at Kwik Trip as its own entity without like the social aspect, like we're super nice, we're super friendly. So like I can see how it kind of is a disconnect when you come to our social media where we're just like witty and we kind of poke fun at some of our guests a lot. And I guess that was just kind of found in seeing what works for us. Like I said, we kind of started with Twitter and then we kind of worked our way into Instagram and then with Facebook. So with Facebook, our voice was extremely promotional. It was only, certain sales, promotions, campaigns. It was all that. So it looked very much like the paid ads that we used to do as well. And we just, decided to go with a meme one time. I think it was back in early 2019 where this meme was trending, and it was from Star Wars. I'm not too educated on Star Wars, but it was a guy I had to look it up to make sure that I didn't sound completely bad. Tauntaun, he's like on this horse thing, and someone made the meme where it said, does anyone want anything from Kwik Trip? And it was during like this huge snowstorm, and we kept getting mentioned in it so many times. And I'm like, maybe we should just post this and like see what happens. And at that time, our demographic was completely different. I guess I'm kind of delving into that as well. It was more so the older demographic. So people who were looking for like the butter sales, the egg sales, all that kind of stuff. Once we put that out there, there was some people that didn't like it, but when we put that out there, we gained a lot of followers, and then they kept expecting to see that content when they came to our page. So that was definitely a risk on our end, but it worked out. So I think just kind of trying different ways, and sometimes we posted things on Facebook that would work on Twitter that didn't come off like they would on Twitter because they just weren't ready for it. It's a completely different audience, of course. I don't think our audiences overlap all that much. So even though we have the same consistent brand voice, it does have to vary, depending on your approach on each platform.
Paige, what makes me super happy talking with you and Megan here is you guys are experimenting. You put stuff out there and then you go, does this work or did it not work? How do they respond to it? Do they, but you guys put yourself out there, and that actually makes myself happy as I know the other people that are on the live stream, because we're trying to figure it out too, just ourselves, is going, okay, what works with the people, our target audience, and what doesn't. But I think what is crucial is that you take those risks, right? Like you're taking that risk of posting something with Star Wars and you're trying it across multiple platforms. But that actually makes me super happy to know that Kwik Trip doesn't have it all figured out, and they're just trying things differently and seeing how your people respond. So that's one takeaway I already have. Lisa Koala is asking, how do you carry your posts over to all platforms, or is there just certain posts that you'll only do on a certain platform?
I would definitely say that we start with Twitter. So like if you see a post first, it's usually on Twitter. And that's kind of where we test it out, because you can tell right away if it's going to go good or bad. But even sometimes we'll post something on Twitter and it doesn't do that hot. But I think, maybe Instagram would find this funny. Maybe it's not worthy of a Facebook post, because we do like to still push a lot of promotional content out on Facebook. So we're kind of not as flexible with like the memes and stuff like that. But yeah, I would say the majority of the time we do carry content throughout all platforms. Like we've even taken TikTok, which is something that we started this year. Definitely a risk, something that I didn't have downloaded prior to us wanting to start it. It was just kind of something like, okay, this isn't going away. Like we have to hop on this and do something about it. I was not 100% comfortable being in front of a camera, but I did it, and I'm doing my best. So I guess, again, just taking those risks really makes a difference.
Yeah, I'm TikTok this is a secret. This is some secret that my community is probably going to find out right now. Laura Thompson, I think, is the only person that knows like my secret. Like I'm secretly addicted to TikTok, and nobody actually knows that. So I'm putting it out there now. So because I think the future real estate investors, future real estate agents are going to be coming off, are going to be coming out of TikTok, growing up on TikTok, and so it's like you got to have a voice there because to grow our business, that's who's in our businesses. So that I secretly love TikTok. But our next question for you, Megan, is when did you guys decide to move like paid ads from one platform to the next? Or is there like only platforms that you do just paid on, or is it all of them?
Yeah, so when I came in, when I joined the team, it was kind of already set up that we know our ads perform well on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I would say we have definitely dove more into Twitter and just put more spend there because I think we have the time now to really dive into the analytics and see what does well on Twitter versus Facebook. We are continually looking at new options like Paige had mentioned. We're thinking about doing Pinterest and kind of targeting some of our like same audiences that we target on Facebook. For example, our take-home meals, we have broken out depending on the video that we have created. There's a mom or like a parenting audience. There's a like a sports fan audience. There's an empty nester audience. So we can really play with those audiences across all platforms. But just continuing to look at new platforms to explore. TikTok is on the list as well. Just kind of have to see how much, everything costs and if it's going to be worth the risk or not. So a lot goes into making those decisions for sure.
And do you guys post organically, or is it scheduled postings? How do you guys do that?
On the organic side of things, we usually schedule everything about a week in advance, sometimes like the day out, depending on workload and everything. But usually we have like the full month planned out in advance on exactly what we're planning to post. Megan probably can speak more to that on the paid side of things.
Yeah, we typically plan monthly, but we know what big initiatives we have coming up. So it's kind of as we have time, I'm able to go in and schedule out our campaigns. Sometimes if an organic post is doing extremely well, we'll go in and put money behind it. So that's kind of like a day-by-day basis, but typically we have them planned out by the month.
Do you, so you said something I would like to dig deeper on. You said you have initiatives, what initiatives you're aiming for. So is that like this year, here's 4 things we're going to really try to do really well this year, and then you plan your month out based on those 4 items? Is that?
Yeah, basically, I guess I was thinking of, I should have probably said campaigns, okay. But yeah, we have, I want to say 6 to 10 like major campaigns throughout the year that will promote and break down for each platform.
Okay. And then Paige, are you intertwined in that, or is that just something that the paid side does by themselves?
Yeah, so on a campaign level, more recently, we've been using our influencers for that. So like with our fried chicken, our take-home meals, like all these new items that we're really trying to push, we've been kind of relying on influencers to do that, just so our feed isn't like filled with, eat this, try this, do this. We definitely love to hop on new products. So anything that's new to our audience, we want to, show like, this is new, you should go, check it out. Sometimes we'll take like their comments on a particular product and kind of play around with that just to show like people are really liking this. But on a campaign level, we kind of just dip into that in and out just so it's not too overwhelming for our organic followers.
What do you guys look for that Kimberly's asking, like what metrics do you use on something that you're posting? So now you're going to say, okay, this is being successful. What are the metrics that you use to go, okay, I should post more like this?
Okay, so on the organic side of things, I'd say engagement and overall sentiment of the comments, seeing that people liked the post, actually liked the post, shared it, commented, and I would say impressions, reach, just the basic KPIs there. But something that we really tried to focus in on is engagement rates, just because we want to continue to build that brand loyalty. We want to actually respond to the comments and all that stuff. I know it's different for Megan on her end, so she can speak to that.
Yeah, for paid, it's really dependent on like the goal of your campaign. So if you want to drive traffic to your website, you'll use a traffic campaign. And then you want to look at your click-through rate or the amount of clicks you get. And if those are high, you know your ads are performing well. For like a reach campaign or an awareness campaign, you want to look at your cost per 1,000 impressions. And that's going to tell you how efficient your ad is running. How much money are you spending per 1,000 impressions for your ad? So those are the two major campaign objectives that we use and the major metrics that we look at.
Awesome. So just so that the real estate agents, real estate investors, people in our real estate community are listening to this right now. So if they post something and it's not getting a lot of engagement, it's not getting a lot of interactions, or it's maybe not being shared by some of the people that they're trying to speak to their customers, that is a post that you would probably try to redo and try to get something with much more engagement, is what I think I'm hearing from you guys.
Yeah, I'd say like just taking a different approach. I feel like depending on the content, like it could just be the copy that was wrong, it could just be the article itself that was wrong, or just kind of the content itself. So trial and error, I'd say. I don't know if Megan has anything to add.
Yeah, from a paid perspective, if an ad isn't performing well or if it's not running very efficiently, we always try to switch up the ad copy. Maybe it needs to have more humor versus more of that typical promotion ad copy. Maybe a different type of media will work. So maybe a video is better than an image. Like Paige has said a couple times, it's kind of just trial and error. And if something's not working, just reapproach it in a different way.
Lisa Coel just asked, what kind of post has given you guys the best engagement? Like, what's one of those posts that you're like, man, we crushed it with this, and it just kind of like is in your memory?
The one thing that comes to mind, besides like relatable Midwest humor, so it's something that people have encountered on a daily basis, and you're like, oh, this totally makes sense. I totally know what you're talking about. Like, just besides that relatable content, which typically works well, is pop culture references, which is something that has come up, I'd say, this year that we've gotten more into. Like, we took the Step Brothers photo and we threw on like a Kwik Trip uniform on one of the guys and then a Culver's uniform, and we used it for National Best Friends Day. Like, just random things like that because people love Kwik Trip and Culver's. Pop culture references, definitely SpongeBob, just random things like that people will see and they'll be like, oh, I understand this caption. Not everyone would, but I do. And we just know that that's the audience that we're targeting. So I feel like that content has done surprisingly well.
How does having a target audience like Midwesterns help you create content versus like anyone who just drives a vehicle? Like, talk to that for us a little bit.
Yeah, so with going through all these comments and getting inspiration from like other Midwestern accounts, just to kind of see what these relatable situations are, I think that's kind of where all that is drawn from. If we were just a regular convenience store, obviously we would have a different approach if we weren't just in the Midwest, because not everyone would get it. So just finding something that your audience can relate to, it doesn't have to be geographically in terms of the Midwest, but just something that everyone can kind of relate on, like the pop culture route. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of what separates us from a lot of other C stores, is that they don't kind of have this, maybe not as strong a bond, like relating to real life situations like we do that are strictly tailored to the Midwest. So we're really lucky to have that.
Yeah, that's one thing. I talked with you guys about this before we got started. It was like, everybody loves Kwik Trip for different reasons. It absolutely amazes me. I'm a real estate guy, so like I love like this is probably gonna be the strangest reason, but the reason I love Kwik Trip, number one, is you guys have concrete parking lots. And it's kind of a strange thing, but what that speaks to me on is that your company thinks in the long game. Like you guys aren't playing like, we're not going for the customer today. Like we're going for loyalty and customers 40 years from now. Because in real estate, when you spend the money to put concrete parking lots in, it's like I'm in this for the long haul as a company. I think that says a lot about their investment strategy and business strategy. Is one of the reasons. And then I can't actually put my finger on like why I went to Kwik Trips or why I just love going to them. So it's just interesting. People in the chat, dump why you guys like Kwik Trip in the chat, and we'll share some of that with Paige and Megan here. Have you noticed any correlation between social media and then sales? Like, are you guys measuring that? Give us some talk to that.
Yeah, so we've actually just kind of started diving into ad tracking a little bit more since I've started. Just recently, we had a car wash card promotion, and it was like buy like a $50 car wash and you get like car wash card and you get like $55 worth. And so what we can do is apply a certain URL to that ad, and when people click on it, we can track it. And you have to set up pixels throughout the website that you're sending people to, which is kind of above my head, but we work with some really smart people who can set that up. And we're able to see how many people actually go through the whole process of checking out and like the amount that was in their cart, and directly attribute that to the car wash cart sales. So we haven't done a ton of it yet, but it's definitely something that upper management likes to see to, justify how much we're spending for ads. So it's a good thing to look into.
Do you, so Travis has a question. Do you strictly post Midwestern humor material to Twitter, or do you filter it in promotional materials as well, other promotional materials as well?
Yeah, so Twitter, we sometimes do if it's like the right approach and if it's funny. I think we had like a tweet that said something about cornbread muffins that we just threw out there and it did okay. So sometimes we can throw things in like that. Our recent underwear launch, we threw that on there, but in terms of performance, posts like that, I feel like people on Twitter, like our audience there, can see like, oh, this is promotional content. Like, I don't want this, go be funny. So I feel like we're kind of more careful on that platform when it comes to promotional content.
Do you, you had mentioned, one of the questions was, Kim has a question on a third-party platform that it sounds like it takes all of your platforms and funnels the comments through to one. Are you comfortable sharing that?
Yeah, sure. That is Sprout Social. So it's a pretty big one. There's a lot of great ones out there, but that's just kind of what we've used. So it basically takes all the comments from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and filters all those through. TikTok is not yet on it, but I kind of just hop on there when I have the time. So yeah.
So you guys are getting some amazing coffee, 2 words, hot sandwiches. Love Kwik Trip because my hubby works there. Both our boys work full-time at Kwik Trip. Clean bathrooms. I have 4 kids, bathrooms. It's interesting. It's interesting.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. Thank you.
Yeah. It's like everybody's is just a little bit different, and that's why I love it. And some people are just like, I love Kwik Trip, and I'm like, why? Why do you love Kwik Trip? And they're like, I don't know. I just love Kwik Trip. So
see, those are all content ideas to me. Like we haven't had a post about clean bathrooms in a while, so throw that out there.
I loved your one post that you had, Paige, where it was like, people didn't believe me that there's a Kwik Trip inside of Kwik Trip, your headquarters. I think I saw that one. Is that right? Like you did a video where it was like, no, we literally have a store inside of our headquarters. So you guys should check it out. It's pretty cool.
Definitely.
All right, so the next question is from Rachel. How do you know when it's time to expand to other platforms? Do you have a process to evaluate it before investing time in it?
On the organic side of things, the only one that we've really added in since I've been here is TikTok. So what kind of happened there is we just kept hearing about it and we're like, we need to just hop on this. So what we did was just research and figure out what we wanted to do. And we actually took a lot of our well-performing tweets and like made them into TikTok form. So just kind of taking what we already had and like ideas that already have done well, that could also appeal to TikTok is what we've done. And then just keeping track of like what's trending on those platforms, all that kind of stuff.
So real estate community, you guys, if you see, it doesn't even have to, Kwik Trip has a benefit of having 62,000 followers on Twitter. If you guys see somebody on Twitter that's in real estate and they're doing something super cool to generate leads, move it over and you guys just steal it and place it on another platform, use what they had that promoted really well from somebody else, and then you maybe steal some of that content idea, make it your own, obviously. But,
yeah, I definitely think that looking at other accounts is extremely beneficial and just kind of putting your own twist on it. Even looking at like how that content has performed for them in terms of their other posts, like just kind of taking that and taking all of that in and researching is very important.
Walk through that creative process again one more time for us. You guys watch other people. What else do you do to help create your content?
I follow a lot of like meme accounts. So when I'm not working, I am screenshotting things all the time. Like my phone is filled with so many text formats, like, oh, we could, change a word here and make it about Kwik Trip, take like the whole format of the text and make it a tweet. So I guess just following those other brands, following just random funny accounts on Twitter, that's a lot of where my inspiration comes from, besides like the actual things that are related to Kwik Trip, but kind of taking content that is funny and making it related to Kwik Trip. So
this might be a really dumb question for you, but I think you said follow meme accounts. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so like the images with text on them, which we use a lot.
Gotcha. So you steal those images and then you move them over to your.
Yep. Okay. So kind of keeping track of what's trending in terms of memes and think, okay, how can we relate this to Kwik Trip?
So they can do that, going like find memes that are performing really well, trending, but then twist it and put it into real estate. Where do people go to find what's trending really well for the different platforms?
Yeah, so I guess it's just kind of been following them along the way. There's like a Facebook account called Memes that I follow, a few Instagram accounts where they post memes, and yeah, I guess that's just kind of where a lot of that inspiration comes from. And even on my own like personal Facebook newsfeed, like sometimes I'll see them there too, and I'll screenshot and think I don't have an idea for this right now, but I'll save it and I'll look at it later when I'm more creative and try to think of something. So.
I think you guys had touched on this. It sounds like you're a week out in terms of how you post most of your stuff, but how often are you posting organic material during that week? So you have your week planned out, but then organic, and then Megan, for you for the paid side, like how many times do you post in that week?
Yeah, so in our social calendar, we kind of have all that laid out. On Facebook, we post like 6 to 7 times a week, so almost every day. Like I said, we kind of fit in a lot of promotional content there, so we want to make sure that we're getting that out there. On Instagram, it's 5 to maybe 7. On Twitter, it's every single day, so we just kind of throw those out every day, maybe like a few weeks in advance on Twitter whenever you have an idea. But yeah, that's and then TikTok has just kind of been the back burner one. Like if we have time to make content there, right now it's been like 1 to 2 per week. So we're trying to up our game there a little bit more too.
Okay. How about you, Megan? Is that do you guys do paid, like your paid ads? Are you trying to run paid ads every single day?
So we basically set all of our ads to serve, I believe it's 2 to 5 impressions every 7 days. So you can it's quite a bit different than organic. It's not like someone's going to see a paid or sponsored post every day from Kwik Trip. I think it kind of depends on the algorithm that each platform has and how they serve those.
All right, awesome. So it seems like over the last 2 years, your business strategy has changed a little bit with Kwik Trip. Can you guys speak to that a little bit? I know you guys are both pretty much been here less than 2 years, been at Kwik Trip. So what made you decide to switch in the direction that you guys are going right now? Or is it just you guys?
You mean like content wise?
Yeah, it just seems like you guys really turned it up social media wise, and I think it's because of you two actually. So is it just because of you guys' personalities, or what is it?
Yeah, I guess Yeah, I don't know, Megan, if you can speak more to that.
Well, I know from the paid side of things, we work with a social media agency also out of Minneapolis. And so they help us a lot on staying up to date on, trends and new ideas. But I think overall just working as a team to come up with, new things that we can do. Our team has grown because I think when it started, it was just both my supervisor and Paige's supervisor. So now with the two of us and an intern on the organic side, we're just able to do a lot more and explore a lot of different options. So I think that has definitely helped us evolve the brand.
Is Kwik Trip really like supporting you guys now too? Like going like, this is the future of like this advertising and helping grow the business?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oops, sorry. Megan, you can go.
I was just going to say there's been a lot more investment on the paid advertising side of things. Upper management sees the potential and the success. So that's definitely a good thing.
One of the questions that just came, actually, Paige, do you want to finish your thoughts on that before I get one more question from the chat?
Oh yeah, I was just going to mention, when other people in those departments like see what we're actually doing, that's super helpful. Like we had a post about our Blue Moon ice cream, and it's kind of hard to track if sales actually come from an organic post. It's a little bit different than Megan kind of seeing all those back end things, but like the next day it sold out. So people were commenting on that post like, this is completely sold out, and they kind of got upset. But like other departments seeing what we can do to actually attribute to sales has really helped. So
awesome. One of the questions in the chat is, is there a specific software or anything that you guys use to plan out your posting, or is that just something you guys keep track of yourself? Is there anything that you use to help with that?
Yeah, so on the organic side, we just kind of have a content calendar. So it has like cards on exactly what each post is. So that's kind of how we plan it out. We write down copy ideas, attach the photos that we need, all that kind of stuff. So just kind of having a schedule, it's just like a calendar layout is what we work with. I know it's different on Megan's end.
We have actually started kind of doing something similar. The software program that we use is called Asana. And like Paige mentioned, it's basically a calendar of the month. And then like my supervisor and I go in and we write down when certain campaigns need to start, when they end, any notes that pertain to that campaign, specifically the platforms they're on. Also, along with that, we do a lot of reporting on our metrics and send that to like our upper management. So just using that as kind of a to-do list, but also something to just keep us organized for sure.
Great, thank you. If you guys could narrow down it to the bare essentials, what would you recommend a small or a single person business do to create a similar type of connection with a target audience?
Yeah, so firstly, I would definitely say the engagement. So when you're first getting people to comment on your posts, I would definitely respond back and show that you're there and like you're thanking them for, liking the posts and you love what they adored about it. Keeping everything kind of lighthearted. That's kind of been something that we've done just to make sure that nothing is polarizing, nothing's going to be too risky to post, obviously. Just keeping that in mind and kind of establishing that brand voice as to where you want to take your personal account and what's working, and just kind of trial and error. So
sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk about risky posts real quick. Like, what is it like you guys stay away from? Like, what helps? Like, where are you like, we don't want to go anywhere near these things? What helps you make those decisions?
I think it's just the basic, anything that's super polarizing, like politics, anything like that, we just don't want to get into, obviously. So I guess just the bare essentials of what to post about and what not to post about. Anything that's going to rub someone the wrong way, we want to stay away from. I think keeping it lighthearted can sometimes help with that, but obviously those really polarizing topics we don't ever want to bring up.
Yeah, anything that'll create division, and because real estate, like a lot of our real estate professionals, they are their brand. So even if they're posting something on their private page that might be polarizing, does have an impact on their business and their company's business. So it's great to hear a big successful company like yours talk a little bit about that. So thank you.
Yeah.
So when you guys are responding to comments, that's what you guys have that goes into your Sprout Social. You guys have one person trying to just rock out, commenting back, and maybe asking more questions, just engaging with the people who are engaging with your content. So our single businesses or small businesses could just make sure that they have to do that themselves. They have to get in there and try to post something that will get engagement. And then in the real estate world, just try to keep the conversation going in and around real estate is what I've already been learning from you guys. So thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the rules for content change from when you go from organic to paid? Like, what all of a sudden makes you go, okay, we're gonna spend some money behind this?
Yeah. So like sorry. I was gonna say, so like I mentioned, we have set campaigns based off of like upper management asks. But because Paige still kind of covers some of those items too. I would say the major difference is that our paid ads have a goal. So typically it's traffic. We have a landing page on our website. We want people to learn more about the product or the sweepstakes, whatever it is that we're promoting. I think that's like the major difference between, or like the major transition between paid and organic.
Okay, Paige, did you have something you wanted to add?
Nope, nothing from my end.
Okay. Do you Carly asked, do you guys utilize hashtags on Instagram? And then if yes, do you stick with 30 hashtags per post? If no, why not?
I know that in the past our team has done hashtags. Now we don't. I think it was just something that we tried and we didn't see the benefits of it. I know that it definitely works for some people. For personal brands, I think that it could definitely work. I look up a lot of hashtags for content ideas a lot, so they're definitely getting seen. So I think when you have more of a niche like the realtor realm of things, I think that hashtags can definitely help. They just didn't really help us out in the past, so I'm sorry, I can't really speak to that.
No, I think it's great. It goes back to your testing, get stuff out there, test it, and then see how they respond to it, which I think helps. Do you guys use any live, Victoria has a question, do you guys use like Facebook live events or YouTube live events, anything like that?
Yeah, so we actually had a Facebook live event kind of right as the pandemic started. When people were staying at home, I think it was a good timing to just put some like wholesome content out there. So we had one of our influencers, Chris Cruzy, do a live stream concert on our Facebook page, and it did amazing. It was something that we've never tried before. It was very new to us, but we just went for it and it did extremely well. I think the whole timing with it, people staying at home, they definitely wanted to get some of that content out there, and we had so many people send in pictures of their whole family watching it like on their TV at home, and it was just really beautiful and it turned out amazing. Otherwise, we've been kind of taking our influencers and they've been doing takeovers on our Instagram. So they'll do story takeovers. We just recently had a band who did a live stream on our Instagram. So yeah, it's very new to us. We don't usually do live streams as a team, but it's more so like letting our influencers take that over and providing some entertainment, and it's done really well so far.
Can I put you both on the spot for a minute? I'll give you time to think about it, but I would like to ask both of you, what would you do? I picked you up and I said, okay, you both are going to go sell houses now. Your job is to sell houses. And then from an organic side, what would you post? And then from a paid side, what would you post? And while you guys are thinking about that, I'll just talk to the community that's live with us right now. Those of you guys that, if you're here joining us for the first time, welcome. Thank you so much for watching us up to this point. Paige, Megan, I've already got 2 pages of notes myself. Thanks for joining us. If you're new here, please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure you thank Paige and Megan for giving up their time and sharing a lot of these tips and tricks with us. Please drop those in the comments. We'd appreciate that. So, All right, I give you a little bit of time to think about it, you two. Megan, why don't you go first from a paid side? If you were just getting started in real estate sales, and you were going to try to get more sales out of a paid program, is there something an idea or something that you would think about creating?
Yeah, I would suggest starting with, well, aside from starting with like the bare minimum would be like boosting an organic post, because those typically you don't have to spend a ton of money. You could throw $50, you could throw $100 at it, and just build. That would help build your reach and your following. But from more of like a back end side of like paid ads, I would suggest starting with like an awareness campaign and getting your brand or your name or your brand name out there, letting people know that, hey, I'm here, I can help you buy a house. And then maybe once you're more established, you have a website, you could start moving into like traffic campaigns.
Pushing people to your website to capture hopefully leads and generation at that point.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Megan. How about you, Paige? Where would you start?
I would definitely start with research first. Before I just posted something, I would look at other accounts, maybe the accounts that you found to be pretty interesting, and thinking, this guy's doing a great thing. Like, I like this content. I like what he's posting. Just kind of following other people and other brands and figuring out, what works for them. And then seeing what kind of route you want to go with your content. If you want it to be educational, if you want like curated content, more so like articles, like if you're looking to kind of add something extra that's different than what other people are doing. Again, an example of just taking a risk and seeing if people react to that. Because at the same time, you don't want it to be the completely same thing as what other people are doing. Like, you want to have your own twist on it. So I think that's super important in making it entertaining, making it so people will see the post and think, oh, I want more of this. So
yeah, that's really interesting too about making it entertaining, because and different. In the real estate community, it's pretty aggressive. Like, a lot of agents are posting things all the time. A lot of real estate investors are posting the same thing. They'll get a new listing and they'll just put it out there. It's like, I'm in the brokerage business, and like I almost mute those conversations, because it's like, I don't really want to see your next listing. Like, I want to see what makes you different. Like really challenge yourself to be unique and different. And if you see something crazy in a basement like that I might not have seen, even though I'm in real estate, post something like that, and then just kind of like gently remind people you're in real estate, more so maybe than just posting listing after listing after listing, because it doesn't really offer a lot of value to people looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely. So any kind of education content, I feel, just kind of really adds to it. So
very interesting about the researching piece too. There's great successful people in real estate doing other things on social media platforms. Go find out what they're doing, and then use that to be different and to differentiate yourself. All right, you guys, keep posting your ahas. There's a lot of great comments coming in. We'll take just a couple more questions, you guys, here, and then we'll let Paige and Megan go. How do you guys handle when you post something and then it becomes, maybe starts going negative, or it starts going kind of in the undesirable direction through comments? Do you guys have a strategy behind that?
Yeah, so on the organic side, I think Megan would just like pull the ad. From our perspective, we've definitely had that where a post isn't going well, or maybe we kind of didn't really think about it before we posted it. One example that comes to mind, I know I spoke with Laura about this, but we posted it a couple weekends ago. So it was a Saturday morning. We had it scheduled to go out. It was a post that did extremely well on Instagram during bow hunting season. And it was of one of our influencers, Caitlin Woodward. She's amazing. You can go follow her. She had a picture of her outside of Kwik Trip holding a Kwik Trip bag. And we took that and we said something like, "It's spooky season. Here's a picture of a floating head," because she was wearing all camo. So that did extremely well on Instagram. The timing of it was right before Halloween. It did very, very well. We took that and we're like, this is our top performer on Instagram, I think, ever. So we're like, let's put this on Facebook. It's not spooky season anymore, but like, we'll think of something. So we thought, opening weekend of hunting, we should post this and kind of make a similar comment. I don't hunt. So we put that out there, and all of the comments were just bashing us on how she's not wearing orange, and you need to wear orange for gun season. And I saw it, and I'm like, I saw it in the first 10 minutes, and I looked at it, and I'm like, I don't know what to do here. So I just hopped on my computer, and instead of pulling the post, because it was doing really well, even though the comments weren't all, that great, it was doing extremely well. People loved it. The people who didn't really notice the orange thing, they were sharing it, liking it, loving it. So I went on there and I responded to the comments with just funny gifs like, oh my gosh, I made a huge mistake. And I went on there and like started responding to all these comments, just making fun of us for not knowing the gun hunting season you wear orange. And I went on there and I had fun with it, and people were actually like standing up for us and saying like, hey, I wear camo under my orange. And they were like, it was amazing to see that community in there. And they're actually looking at, Kwik Trip coming in here, admitting that they made a mistake and just having fun with it. So we left the post up. So that was just kind of an example of turning it into a good thing. I think it was really exciting. It was something that I was embarrassed about, but we found a way to make it work, and it ended up doing really well. So
I think that speaks to you guys' brand, where you have that sense of humor. You're like, we missed this, but yet we can still make fun of ourselves while just having fun with it, and then your community rallying around you. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I think that's
absolutely
great. Especially if you're willing to admit it, right? Like you're willing to be like, we missed this one, and we're working on it. But I absolutely love the sense of humor, and I hope that a lot of our people take that away as like, just have some fun with it, and wind your personality in with what you're doing, so it's natural. Is awesome. Okay, so biggest lesson. What's the biggest lesson you've learned in the past years with brand management? What's the biggest takeaway that you've learned?
I definitely go back to taking risks and just seeing what works, and to not let the little failures get to you. It's different to have a job where like all you do is post these things, and sometimes people aren't going to like it. Sometimes sometimes I still think, oh my gosh, this post is going to blow it out of the water. It's going to do really well, and people don't like it. And kind of just seeing like where we went wrong with that, and just learning from those mistakes and not letting that get to you. Celebrating like the small wins, I think, is super important in a position like mine. So yeah, just kind of taking those risks and learning from any kind of mistakes that you make along the way. So
awesome. How about you, Megan?
Yeah, I'm just going to reiterate what Paige said. I think we've spoken to it a lot, that our growth has really attributed to the fact that we've tried new things, and sometimes they don't work, and you just kind of have to figure out a different way to approach that. And you'll find something eventually that will work and that will resonate with your audience. And yeah, trial and error, but it's definitely worth the risk.
Yeah, that's great. So I believe, Laura, you're going to post all the social links so that people can follow you guys and your work that you guys have done on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. She's going to post those, you guys, so you guys can follow Kwik Trip. Check out some of their stuff. It's awesome what you guys are doing. And I am super, super thankful to both of you guys for taking time and sharing what you've been sharing with us. We've literally had almost zero drop off in retention. So the people that were watching were like just really locked into what you guys were saying. Those of you guys who are watching the live stream, can you dump some gratitude towards Paige and Megan before we jump off here? Just say thank you to them for their time. Like the video, share it with anybody else that you think can get some value out of this. And Paige and Megan, thank you so much for this. I have literally 2 pages of notes that we're personally going to use. So you guys added a ton of value.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
No problem. Thank you guys. And I look forward to kind of following you guys and watch what kind of how it unfolds here over the next couple of years. So
for sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. See you guys later. Thank you.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.